Ever noticed how the most intelligent people in the room are often the quietest? It's not because they're shy, it's because they're wise enough to avoid saying these things. Let's dive into the controversial truth of what an intelligent person never says. 1. That's not fair. Let's talk about fairness, shall we? We've all said it at some point. Something didn't go our way, and we threw up our hands in frustration, declaring, "That's not fair." It feels good to say, doesn't it? Like the universe owes us an explanation for why things aren't balanced, why someone else got what we wanted, or why life threw us a curveball when we were expecting a straight shot. But here's the cold, hard truth. Life isn't fair, and it never will be. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can focus on what really matters, what you can actually control. Complaining about fairness is like yelling at the wind. It's loud, dramatic, and ultimately pointless. Think about it. Nature itself isn't fair. Some animals are born predators, others are born prey. Some people are born into wealth, others are born into poverty. Fairness isn't a law of the universe. It's a human construct we cling to because it makes us feel like the world should operate by our rules. But here's the kicker. Complaining about fairness is a waste of your energy. It's energy you could be using to get better, to grow, to adapt, to win despite the odds. Every minute you spend whining about how unfair something is, you're giving away your power. You're handing it over to circumstances, to other people, to things outside your control. And let me tell you, those things don't care about your feelings. The most successful people I know have one thing in common. They don't waste time crying about fairness. Instead, they focus on what they can control. They don't say, "That's not fair." They say, "What's next? How do I work around this? How do I turn this to my advantage?" Fairness is irrelevant. What matters is resilience. What matters is how you respond when life doesn't play by the rules you thought it should. You can cry about the cards you were dealt, or you can play your hand like a champion. Fairness is a distraction. It keeps you stuck in a loop of frustration and inaction. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I do about it?" That shift in mindset is powerful. It's the difference between being a victim of your circumstances and becoming the architect of your own life. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "That's not fair," pause. Take a breath. Remind yourself that fairness isn't a guarantee, and it's not a requirement for success. Focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, your actions. Because at the end of the day, life may not be fair, but you can always choose to rise above it. And when you do, you'll realize that fairness was never the point. Strength, resilience, and adaptability are. 2. I deserve this. The infamous "I deserve this." It's the phrase we use to justify everything from skipping the gym to indulging in a little too much self-pity. It feels good to say, doesn't it? There's a sense of entitlement wrapped in those words, a belief that the universe owes us something because we worked hard, suffered enough, or simply exist. But here's the thing. Deserving something doesn't mean it's going to happen. Let me be real with you. The world doesn't operate on a deserve system. It's not a vending machine where you insert effort and automatically get rewarded. Life is messy, unpredictable, and often indifferent to how much you think you deserve something. And if you cling to this mindset, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Think about it. How many people do you know who sit around complaining about how much they deserve? "I deserve a promotion," they'll say, while putting in the bare minimum. "I deserve love," they'll claim, while refusing to work on themselves or their relationships. The "I deserve this" mindset becomes a crutch, a way to avoid the uncomfortable truth that sometimes you have to work even harder, wait even longer, or face rejection without losing momentum. Take a moment to consider this. Do you actually deserve what you're asking for, or are you hoping life will hand it to you because it's convenient? Because here's the kicker, the universe doesn't hand out participation trophies. You don't get points for showing up and saying, "I want this." You get points for grinding, for showing up even when it's hard, for taking rejection and failure as lessons instead of excuses to quit. When you stop focusing on what you think you deserve and start focusing on what you're willing to work for, you unlock a level of power and freedom that entitlement can never give you. You stop waiting for the world to validate you and start creating your own opportunities. But let's be clear, this doesn't mean you shouldn't recognize your worth. There's a fine line between entitlement and self-respect. Knowing your worth is essential. It's what keeps you from settling for less than you deserve in relationships, in your career, and in life. But here's the twist. Your worth isn't determined by what you think you deserve. It's determined by what you're willing to do to align your life with your values. When you catch yourself thinking, "I deserve this," ask yourself, have I truly earned it? Am I doing everything in my power to make this happen? Or am I waiting for the universe to deliver it on a silver platter? Because the reality is, the world doesn't owe you anything. But when you show up, put in the work, and refuse to quit, you'll find that life has a way of rewarding those who earn it, not those who merely expect it. So the next time you feel tempted to say, "I deserve this," flip the script. Replace it with, "I'm willing to earn this." 3. I already know that. The classic, "I already know that." It's like we've mastered the art of brushing off valuable lessons, as if somehow repeating something we've heard 100 times makes us immune to actually doing it. And here's the thing, we all do it. I do it. You do it. Everyone does it. But let me hit you with this. If you truly knew it, why aren't you living it? Let's be honest for a second. We're all guilty of hearing something, nodding along, and then moving on with our lives like nothing's changed. But there's a difference between hearing something and actually letting it sink in. There's a difference between knowing about something and living it. And I'll tell you right now, knowledge alone doesn't change a thing. Action does. The people who really know something don't need to say it. They just live it. When you're truly living your knowledge, you don't have to boast about it. It's not about being the loudest in the room proclaiming, "I know everything." It's about the quiet confidence of someone who's actively applying their wisdom in their daily life. Think about it. Successful entrepreneurs, athletes, even people who've mastered a skill, they don't need to tell you how much they know. They don't walk around saying, "I already know that." They're out there doing it. They're out there practicing, failing, getting back up and getting better. They're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk. And that's the difference. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I already know that," pause, take a breath, ask yourself, am I really living this? Or am I just collecting knowledge like trophies, but not using them? Because let's be real, there's no point in collecting all this wisdom if we don't put it into action. Life isn't about how much you know, it's about how much you actually apply. It's about what you're willing to do with what you already know. Instead of brushing something off with, "I already know that," flip the script. Ask yourself, how can I actually use this? How can I apply this to make my life better? Because you'll be amazed at what happens when you stop just knowing and start doing. It's the difference between being a passive observer of your life and being the active creator of it. Next time someone shares a piece of wisdom with you, don't just nod and say, "I already know that." Ask yourself, how can I use this to improve my life today? And I promise you, that shift in perspective will take you further than you ever thought possible. 4. I'm too old or young for this. This phrase is a classic excuse. a way of convincing yourself that your age, whether high or low, is a valid reason to opt out of something challenging, exciting, or unfamiliar. But let's be honest, is it really about age, or is it about fear? Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or maybe even fear of success? Because here's the truth. Age is rarely the real obstacle. Your mindset is. Let's tackle the too old excuse first. Society loves to perpetuate the idea that there's an expiration date on ambition, dreams, and new beginnings. But history proves otherwise. Age is just a number. It's your belief about that number that defines your potential. The "I'm too old" or "I'm too young" excuse is a mindset trap designed to keep you in your comfort zone. It's easier to blame your age than to admit you're afraid of stepping into the unknown. But the unknown is where growth happens. If you're telling yourself you're too old, ask yourself, am I really out of time, or am I just afraid to start? And if you think you're too young, ask, is it really about age, or am I afraid of being judged or failing? Once you strip away the excuse, you'll find that age has nothing to do with your ability to succeed. Here's a tip: reframe your mindset. Instead of saying, I'm too old, say, I have the wisdom and experience to make this work. Instead of saying, I'm too young, say, I have the energy and fresh perspective to make this happen. Age doesn't define your ability, your mindset does. The only time age truly matters is when you let it. Whether you're 18 or 80, you can take action, pursue your dreams, and create a meaningful life. 5. That's too risky. The perfect excuse for staying in your comfort zone. Risk is scary, no doubt about it. It's unpredictable, uncomfortable, and often comes with the possibility of failure. But let's flip the script for a second. What's the bigger risk? Trying something new and failing, or staying stuck in the same place forever? When we say, that's too risky, what we're really saying is, I'm afraid of the unknown, and that's okay. It's human. But let's be honest, every meaningful accomplishment in life comes with some level of risk. Starting a business, pursuing a relationship, moving to a new city, switching careers, these are all risky moves. But they're also the moves that lead to growth, fulfillment, and ultimately, a life worth living. Successful people don't take risks blindly. They take calculated risks. They weigh the pros and cons, prepare as much as possible, and then leap. The key is not to eliminate risk, it's to manage it. So, how do you reframe the idea of risk? Instead of saying, that's too risky, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often, the worst-case scenario isn't as bad as you think. Then ask, what's the best that could happen? When you focus on the potential upside, you start to see risk as an opportunity, not a threat. And let's not forget the deeper message. Avoiding risk is avoiding life. The moments that define us are almost always the ones where we stepped into the unknown, faced our fears, and took a chance. Sure, you might fail, but even failure teaches you something valuable. It's a stepping stone, not a dead end. The truth is, playing it safe is the biggest risk of all. It guarantees you'll never grow, never learn, and never achieve the extraordinary. So the next time you catch yourself saying, that's too risky, stop and ask yourself, is it really too risky, or am I just too afraid? Then remind yourself, the best things in life often come on the other side of risk. 6. They're just lucky. When we see someone else succeeding, thriving, or achieving what we secretly want, it's so easy to chalk it up to luck. It's comforting, isn't it? It absolves us of responsibility. If they're just lucky, then we don't have to confront the possibility that maybe they worked harder, sacrificed more, or simply made better choices. But let's be honest, luck is rarely the full story. Think about it. How often do we actually see the grind behind someone's success? We see the promotion, not the sleepless nights. We see the thriving business, not the years of failed attempts. We see the fit body, not the hours in the gym and the countless times they said no to junk food. Labeling someone's success as luck is like watching the final scene of a movie and pretending the rest of the story didn't happen. Sure, luck exists. Right place, right time, meeting the right person. Those things can make a difference. But here's the kicker. Luck only works if you're prepared to seize the opportunity when it comes. Luck isn't just stumbling onto a pot of gold. It's showing up every day with your shovel, ready to dig, even when you don't know where the treasure is. Calling someone lucky is often a reflection of our own insecurities. It's easier to blame their success on luck than to admit we might not be putting in the work. It's easier to envy their achievements than to confront the areas where we're falling short. But every time you dismiss someone's success as luck, you're robbing yourself of the chance to learn from their journey. Instead of saying, they're just lucky, ask yourself, what did they do to get where they are? What can I learn from their choices, habits, and mindset? You'll often find that their luck is a combination of hard work, smart decisions, and persistence. So the next time you catch yourself saying, they're just lucky, stop and remind yourself, luck might open the door, but it's hard work that gets you through it. Instead of envying someone else's success, use it as fuel to create your own, because at the end of the day, the luckiest people are the ones who refuse to give up. 7. That's not how we've always done it. This phrase is often used to defend tradition, routine, or the comfort of the familiar. But let's face it, how we've always done it is often the reason we're stuck, uninspired, and falling behind. Clinging to the past may feel safe, but it's also a recipe for irrelevance. The world is constantly evolving. Technology advances, industries shift, cultures change, and so must we. Imagine if humanity had stuck with how we've always done it. We'd still be lighting our homes with candles, riding horses to work, and thinking the Earth was the center of the universe. Progress only happens when someone challenges the status quo and says, maybe there's a better way. It's easier to stick with what's familiar than to risk trying something new. But growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when we challenge ourselves, question old ways, and take a leap of faith. Change doesn't mean abandoning everything. It means building on what works and improving what doesn't. Tradition has its place. It provides stability and a sense of identity. But when tradition becomes a roadblock to progress, it's time to let it go. So, the next time you catch yourself or someone else saying, that's not how we've always done it, pause and ask, is the old way still serving us? If the answer is no, it's time to embrace change. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's risky. But it's also where growth, innovation, and greatness live. Here's a deeper truth. The world doesn't stop for anyone. If you refuse to adapt, you'll be left behind. But if you're willing to challenge the status quo, you open the door to possibilities you never imagined. So, let go of how we've always done it and start asking, what's the best way to do it now? Because the future belongs to those who dare to reinvent the present. So, the next time you catch yourself saying, that's too risky, or any of these other phrases, stop and think about what you're really telling yourself. Are you holding back because of fear, or because you're protecting your comfort zone? Growth doesn't happen where it's safe. It happens when you challenge yourself, take risks, and let go of limiting beliefs. Remember, life is short, and every excuse you make today is a regret you'll face tomorrow. Take the leap, bet on yourself, and don't let fear, doubt, or excuses keep you from the life you're capable of living. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it.